Tonight, Athens Academy junior Dion Colsey discusses how family factored into his decision to commit to his dream school. Plus, find out why the Georgia High School Association is experiencing a shortage of referees and hear how they're planning to fix it. And the Buford Wolves come to Athens to take on the Clark Central Gladiators in our Game of the Week. All of that and more right now on Grady Sportsource. Good evening and welcome to the final Grady Sportsource show of 2019. This is your home for high school football in the Athens area, and I'm your host, Nicole Sheeran. We have some breaking news this week. 2 of our Athens area schools will be moving down in classification next year. The Cedar Shoals Jaguars will be dropping to 4A, and the Oconee County Warriors will be moving to 3A. I'm joined by our analysts Yash Bika and Mason Cantrell now. So let's talk. What does this mean going into next season?
This is obviously going to affect the entire schedule of both teams, but more importantly, it changes up major rivalries for 4 of our Athens area teams. The Jaguars now be a classification below their crosstown rivals at Clark Central, while the Warriors will no longer be in a region with the North Oconee Titans.
This means that last Friday's battle for the region title between the 2 Oconee schools will be the final time they meet with playoff implications at stake. If these 2 teams want to continue their rivalries, they will have to schedule them earlier in the season. That could lead to more sloppy play, as the start of the season, coaches are still figuring out their team.
I definitely agree that the rivalry aspect will be affected. Cedar Shoals is currently ranked 3rd in the region, below Clark Central sitting at 2nd. The Oconee County Warriors are number 1 in their region, with North Oconee following right behind after the Warriors win over the Titans last Friday. We won't have these standings next year to compare these teams beyond their one rivalry game.
Both teams have done well with their current classifications, so in the long run, this will probably be a positive for them. Being a step down could potentially mean 1 to 2 more wins every year, and whether there's a region championship on the line or not, the close proximities of these schools will keep the bad blood in the rivalries.
Cedar Shoals won't be playing Clark Central in the same region anymore, but the Jaguars will be avoiding strong teams like Buford next season. Meanwhile, the Oconee County Warriors, an already dominant team in the current classification, get the chance to test out their abilities in a new region.
Thanks for the insight, guys. We'll look forward to having you back later on in the show to discuss tonight's area games. Last football season, the Georgia High School Association experienced a shortage of referees. This year, they're having trouble retaining them. Sportsource reporter Caroline Connolly has more on the story. Caroline.
Thanks, Nicole. I'm here at the intramural fields where some of the Georgia High School Football Association refs work throughout the week. The hate mail that they've been receiving throughout the year has put a strain on them staying throughout the season. Our feature reporter, Philip Hubbard, has more on the story.
At the end of each game, referees fill out an unsportsmanlike conduct report card based on fans, players, and coaches' behavior toward them. This year alone, there's been a 45% increase in the number of unsportsmanlike reports. Ernie Yarbrough, the GHSA Assistant Executive Director, believes this use spans past the football realm.
The societal thing, first of all, we should think about it. We see it every night. It's on ESPN every night almost if you want to watch it.
Yarbrough even went as far to say, as this was the biggest problem in retaining GHSA referees. But the problem goes well before the high school level.
A lot of times if you've got a young official that you're trying to recruit to come into high school, they start a lot of times at the youth and rec league level. And if they see that stuff going on there, then they have reservations about going in.
However, Yarbrough and administrative staff are searching for possible solutions.
We are going to publish ejections, and we will not do it specific to an individual, but we will just report, for an example, School Z had 5 coaches and 13 players ejected over the course of the
Flag on the play.
We hate to go to that extreme because in some cases people may interpret that as trying to shame them, but really that's not what we're doing. We're just trying to get the attention that these things are going on, and it doesn't seem to be curtailing at all. In fact, if anything, it's escalating.
biggest issue of retaining referees is pointed at the unsportsmanlike conduct. It is not the only issue. There's the financial burden to consider too. Bill Palmer, the head of the Northeast Georgia Officials Association, tells why the financial commitment to being a referee is more pressing now than in years past.
But as we've all gotten older and younger officials have begun to try to step in, so many of them are in a situation economically where this has to be their part-time job. And so that economic pressure has increased and ratcheted up.
The GHSA does not foresee any referee shortages happening like last year's football season. However, they do know that if these problems are not solved quickly, that they could have shortages for years to come. For Grady Sportsource, this is Philip Hubbard.
As you can see, Coach Perno and many others feel passionate about this matter. It'll be interesting to see how referees get handled for the rest of the regular season and into the playoffs. Back to you, Nicole.
Thanks, Caroline. That spike in unsportsmanlike conduct definitely seems like a difficult thing for the referees to handle. Now, let's talk about two big games tonight for the Athens area teams. The Oconee County Warriors will be taking on the Madison Red Raiders at home, and the Cedar Shoal Jaguars will be hitting the road and taking on Walnut Grove. Oconee County is looking to stay undefeated after their big win against rival North Oconee on Friday. Mason, how do you feel that they're going to continue this momentum into their game on Friday?
Honestly, the only chance Madison County has in this game is if Oconee County completely overlooks them heading into the playoffs. The Warriors are on a 7-game win streak, and with every performance so far, they've gained momentum on the year. Their defense has been suffocating lately as well. In last week's game, North Oconee scored late to make that game look a lot closer than it actually was. I expect a similarly dominant performance from Oconee County tonight.
And check this, the last 3 times Oconee County has played Madison County, they've scored at least 21 points on the Red Raiders. So I expect no different in this game. And not to mention, even though Madison County has a 4-5 record this year, I still don't think that's enough for them. They still have to overcome the senior running back duo of Darius Norman, Jimmy Boswell, who have combined for 11 touchdowns. So I still expect the Oconee County Warrior offense to carry them through tonight.
And guys, we can't forget about star quarterback and LSU commit Max Johnson. He had over 60% completion percentage in his last game and threw for 3 passing touchdowns.
Yeah, Johnson's definitely been the focal point of the Warriors' offense this season, but he performs even better when they have a rushing attack to complement them. Teams can either stack the box against the Warriors or spread their guys out. They'll find a way to punish them either way.
All right, so our next matchup, Cedar Shoals and Walnut Grove. The Jaguars traveled to Loganville and left with a 14-7 win. Yash, how do you feel like the success will carry over into their game tonight?
Well, first of all, defense will remain key for Cedar Shoals. Excluding their overtime win over Winder Barrow earlier in the season, in their wins, Cedar Shoals wins, they've given up an average of 13.2 points per game. And luckily for them, Walnut Grove has only scored a combined 3 points in 2 games.
Yeah, Walnut Grove does not have much to look forward to tonight. Cedar Shoals running back Jerdavian Colbert already has more than 1,050 rushing yards on the season, and he's only going to add to that total tonight. It's going to be a long game to end what has been a long season for Walnut Grove.
Yeah, Walnut Grove, as we all know, is heading into this game winless, and unfortunately, they're going to finish the season winless.
Yes, speaking with no hesitation. I mean, confidence is key, right? Still to come, Athens Academy star wide receiver Dion Colsey committed to Notre Dame. But first, we place our bets and discuss which Athens area schools will advance the furthest in the state playoffs. Stay tuned.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. Already posted it.
Sportsource Team 1 here. Thank you guys so much for following us throughout the entire fall. We loved covering sports as much as Quentin made us all uncomfortable. We had a great time. I guess there's only one thing left to say, guys. Live from Sportsource, it's Friday night!
After the conclusion of tonight's games, it will officially be playoff season. With 6 of the Athens area schools likely to advance, we got together late last night to place our bets in a little game of playoff poker.
In playoff poker, the rules are simple. Our professionals are entering the game with chips valued at 90 points per round. Each round will feature 2 area schools, with players placing bets on which of the 2 schools they think will advance further in the state playoffs. This will continue for 3 rounds or until all bets are placed. Let's play playoff poker. Round 1. Prince Avenue and Athens Academy.
Okay, now this definitely is a tough one. With senior running back Laneith Whitehead potentially out for the season due to injury, that could hurt Athens Academy's momentum going into the playoffs. Prince Avenue's quarterback Brock Vandegrift is strong and healthy, but they suffered a shutout against Athens Academy this season with a score of 24-0. I'm betting 20 chips on Athens Academy Spartans, making it pretty deep in the playoffs this season. Hey, you know what? I'll even double the bet and make it 40 chips to say they're winning it all this year. They're undefeated, have strong defense, and senior running back Kurt Nisley proved that he has what it takes to step in for the Whitehead and get the job done.
I'm going all in on the Wolverines heading into the playoffs. Spartans, Spartans, Spartans. That's been the talk all season around here. Yeah, Athens Academy is undefeated, and yeah, they beat Prince earlier this year. But Brock Vandegrift was out that game, and even though they lost, the Wolverines rallied and grew as a team in his absence. Now, the Spartans are seeing what it's like to miss their best player, with Laneith Whitehead being out at the worst possible time. Don't be surprised when this is finally the year that Prince Avenue gets over the hump and makes a run to the state title game.
I'm going in on Athens Academy. I know with the loss of Laneith Whitehead, it would be really easy to count this team out. However, this team has got ballers and playmakers all over the field that have stepped up in Laneith's absence. Notre Dame commit Deion Colsey is coming up big with his catches, and quarterback Palmer Bush is spreading the wealth around to his different players. And the playbook is growing for the young quarterback. I'm putting 50 chips in for Athens.
Round 2. Cedar Shoals and Clark Central.
All right, so they both currently have an overall record of 6-3. But when it comes to Jaguars versus Gladiators, I have to go with the Clark Central Gladiators on this one. They have 2 powerhouse players, wide receiver No-No Mack and star running back O'Brien Barnett. They're going up against an undefeated Buford tonight, but I think that game will put them in the right mindset heading into the playoffs. Last year, the Gladiators lost in the 3rd round of playoffs. They had a taste of what it feels like to make their way far into the playoff bracket, and this year, they're coming back wanting more. And for that reason, 20 chips down for the Gladiators.
In the playoffs, the games get tighter as teams face better competition. And with 4 one-possession wins on their resume, the Cedar Shoals Jaguars have shown that they can win those games. A balanced rushing attack led by star back Jadavian Colbert will help keep an opportunistic and physical defense rested and ready to perform when they are on the field. I love the balance of this team compared to Clark Central, so I'm placing 50 chips on the Jags.
I know they say defense wins games, and Cedar have kept their opponents from scoring on them. However, the lack of scoring worries me in playoff time because the competition is better and play calling gets tighter. But if your offense can't keep up with the output on your defense, it won't end well. That's why I'm putting 20 chips down for Clark Central because they have the firepower to keep up with anyone. Give me running back O'Brien Barnett, wide receiver No-No Mack, making plays each and every game. So they are my pick.
Round 3. Oconee County and North Oconee.
Okay, so North Oconee's Bubba Chandler. Oconee County's Max Johnson. Bubba Chandler, Max Johnson. Now that's a quarterback face-off if I've ever seen one. But does Bubba have too much baseball on his mind, considering that he committed to play at UGA? Johnson recently committed to play football for the LSU Tigers. He's in the right mindset and ready to carry his team far in the playoffs this season. Now, we can't forget that the Oconee County Warriors defeated the Titans last Friday with a score of 35-7. Oconee County is going to bring the heat, and I'm betting 10 chips. No. You know what? Make it 20 chips on the Warriors making it far this playoff run.
Look, you can't disregard how great of a turnaround the Titans program has had under head coach Tyler Arndt. And quarterback Bubba Chandler is a stud in multiple sports. But outside of Oconee County, the Titans' opponents have a winning percentage just under 30 this season. This lack of competition really showed up when they matched up against Oconee, and the Warriors absolutely smoked them. The Warriors haven't lost since August, and I expect them to ride quarterback Max Johnson's arms deep into the playoffs. I'm putting 75 chips on Oconee County.
Listen to me. Both Oconee schools have great records and both only have one loss. However, the quality of the wins is where the similarities stop for these two schools. All the teams North Oconee have beat have losing records. The competition is sweeter than a Boston cream pie. And the one quality opponent that it did face was the rivals, Oconee County. And guess what? They lost. So I'm putting 10 chips down for Oconee County, led by LSU commit Max Johnson, to make it far in the playoffs.
All bets have been placed and are now final.
Guys, I have to say, that was pretty fun.
Oh, I know. Every time this guy made a move, though, I was getting so nervous.
Are you kidding me? Nicole was on fire. Her moves were on par, perfect.
Okay. Well, why don't we let them decide? Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at @ByGradySports to place your own bets. Tell us who you think has a winning hand or may bust. Family and football mean everything to Athens Academy star wide receiver. Our feature reporter, Caroline Connolly, has the story behind Deion Colsey's commitment to Notre Dame.
734 miles. That is how far Notre Dame commit Deion Colsey will be from Athens when he goes to play football in South Bend. It may be far from home, but distance didn't play too big of a part in his decision.
I mean, honestly, it's really the same situation as I am right now. You know, I live in McDonough, Georgia, which is like an hour and a half away from Athens. So I live with one of my teammates, my quarterback, so that, you know, helps the connection even more. But I live with my quarterback during the week, so I'm always away from them during the week. I see them on Fridays and the weekends. So being away from them really wasn't really a big deal. She obviously loved Notre Dame. She's been a fan for a long time. So I think the distance really didn't play much a factor in it.
Yolanda Jackson, Colsey's mom, has used these past few years of Colsey living with his teammates as a way to prepare for when he leaves for Notre Dame.
I think it's definitely helped him, and it's really helped me be prepared when he's not going to be home. So with him being here and staying here during the week with his quarterback to be able to go to school here has really prepared me more than it has prepared him for him being away from home. And I know he's going to be further away, but I think I'm ready.
Despite living at different places during the week, the recruitment process is something that Colsey and his mom went through together. His performance on Fridays caught the attention of coaches all over the country.
When September 1st came, he got about 350 letters. So our mailbox was full. I actually had to call the post office to ask them to have the mail carrier not stuff the mailbox, rubber band it, and leave it on the porch.
Before Colsey's commitment on October 12th, the Notre Dame coaching staff worked hard to make him feel welcomed and excited to be in South Bend, and it definitely paid off.
Well, the process was fun, of course. It was fun, you know, getting all the offers and talking to all the coaches. But, you know, ultimately, I just wanted to make a decision so I wouldn't have to, you know, have that burden on me for a while throughout the season. I just wanted to get it out of the way. You know, I talked with my parents, I talked with my coaches. I knew that, you know, that was the place for me, and I just was finding the right opportunity to do it. So I just chose the USC game. You know, it's the best game of their schedule. I just went up there. I had a meeting with Coach Alexander, which is the receiver coach, and I told him in the meeting. And then, you know, like I say 5 minutes later, I had a meeting with Coach Kelly. And then I told him, you know, the same thing. I came to the game to commit to the University of Notre Dame.
At the end of the day, it came down to family. Notre Dame was able to show him that, even from 11 and a half hours away.
Definitely family. I'm a big family guy. I love my family, and just them, you know, reaching out to me and contacting me to make me feel a part of their family is really what did it.
I'm Caroline Connolly with Grady Sports.
Colsey committed to the Fighting Irish while still just a junior. He has a lot of high school football left to showcase his talent here in Athens. Thanks, Caroline, for the story. It's Clark Central's first time hosting the Buford Wolves in 3 years. Mason and Yash join me again as we talk all things Gladiators and Wolves in our Game of the Week matchup. Stay with us.
So the Game of the Week is pretty significant to our shows on Friday, and we take the selection process very seriously.
Okay, so, quick question. Is it Madison the county or Madison the town?
Oh my God, are you geographically challenged?
Wait, guys, what about Athens Christian?
Will, what? Dude, they don't even play this week. Wait, are you seriously supposed to be our producer?
Do you want me to come over there?
Yeah. Oh. You know what? We're gonna go outside.
If a gladiator actually fought a wolf, it would destroy it. Gladiators have swords, shields.
That doesn't even make sense. You obviously can't even think
You know what? I'm not going to leave because you know what? I'm with Mason. I am defending the Gladiators.
Oh, can you spell it?
It doesn't have to be spelled wrong. They can win a football game.
You know what? This is a bunch of...
What's going on in there?
I think they're picking game of the week.
Should we go in there and help them out?
They'll figure it out.
What to expect when you're expecting
Like here.
a teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey. Ready for the...
Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Hey everyone, Team 2 signing off for the semester. Thank you all for following along all summer long and fall long. And thanks to all the players and coaches for letting us share your stories. We can't wait to see what next year's Grady Sportsource crew produces. For now though, Team 2, out.
It's officially time for our game of the week. The undefeated Buford Wolves are traveling to the home of the 6-3 Clark Central Gladiators for the last region game of the season. Now, this is the first time that the Gladiators will have the Wolves at their home stadium in 3 years. Earlier this week, I spoke with Clark Central head coach David Perno. Are there any specific challenges that you're expecting this Friday in the game?
Yeah, I mean, they've lost 3 region games in 15 years. So, you know, they don't lose these games very often. But for us to position ourselves to have a chance to win the region is a huge step for us. And now hopefully we can, our goal is to make it a 4-quarter game. Have a chance in that 4th quarter at home. I might like our chances.
Coach Perno said it himself. Buford doesn't lose these kind of games, and it doesn't look like it's going to change tonight. Clark Central's a physical team, and they played well as of late, but they've struggled with some of the better teams on their schedule this season.
No doubt. This is going to be a tough matchup, but Clark Central has multiple players that can hurt Buford offensively. I'm talking about O'Brien Barnett, 947 yards for the senior running back. Not to mention, they also have quarterback Isaac Ward, who threw for 156 yards and 3 touchdowns against Johnson in their last game.
Look, Barnett's a talented running back for sure, but the Wolves have the defense to slow him down. The last time Buford faced off against a running back of his skill level was when they played Cedar Shoals, Jadavian Colbert, and they held him to 32 yards on 10 carries. Unless Ward's able to make some big throws tonight to spread out the defense and open things up for that Gladiator offense, they're really going to have a tough time moving the ball.
Now, why is this so Clark Central focused tonight? The 3 of us did go out to Buford this week, and here's what we got.
Hey guys, Mason Cantrell here with Grady Sports. You're probably wondering why I'm standing by myself outside of a high school. Well, that's because we came down to Buford High School today to interview head coach Bryant Appling, who's taking his team up to Athens to play the Clark Central Gladiators this Friday. We were rejected for an interview. Buford's defense is great on the field, and it's even better in the front office. They absolutely stonewalled us when we were trying to talk to Coach Appling.
Now, we can't forget that this is the first time that the Gladiators have a chance at winning the region since 2010 when they were in Region 8-4A. So how do you guys think the nerves are going to be with this game tonight?
I'm sure that David Perno and his staff have talked to his players about the importance of this game. They have the veteran leadership there. 47 of the Clark Central players, that's more than half of the roster on the team, are upperclassmen. They've been there, they've done that, they've faced Buford before. They know the challenges up against them tonight when they place Buford.
Look, Yesh is 100% correct on this one. Having 47 upperclassmen on the roster speaks for itself. And not only do they have that many guys on the roster, but they've also been in high-pressure games considering they made a deep playoff run last season.
Now, out of all the offensive talent Clark Central has, our player in the spotlight tonight is Clark Central wide receiver Jairus "No-No" Mack. He has totaled 948 receiving yards this season and is a complete powerhouse on the field. He will need to have that level of production tonight if the Gladiators want to have a chance to upset the Wolves. No-No is a pretty unique name, so Josh spoke with him earlier this week.
I'm standing right alongside me is Clark Central wide receiver Jairus "No-No" Mack. We asked Coach Perno about your nickname No-No. He said it came a little bit earlier in your childhood. Can you really explain like maybe a story that happened for you getting that nickname?
So growing up playing football,
Well, I have a name named Genoa. That's not really my name. My mom wanted to call me that when I was born, but her and my dad had like a miscommunication about who's going to name me. He named me Jairus, and she just kept on calling me Genoa, and then she that kind of like stuck with me more than Jairus did because nobody can really pronounce Jairus. So that name came about. I didn't really like the nickname Noah, so I just said, call me something different. And one of my football coaches started calling me No-No, and it just stuck with me ever since then.
He's not only known just for his nickname. Mac is a baller. He has 47 catches and 14 total touchdowns this season. When I spoke to him earlier this week, he mentioned that his goal this season was to get at least 10 touchdowns. And guess what? He already got that before the season ended. And not only in Clark Central's loss against Flowery Branch, he had 6 receptions and 89 yards. So he's going to be a huge integral part of this offense tonight.
No doubt about it. Mac is the star of this receiving group. He's got 948 receiving yards on the season. The next closest guy on the roster is Jalen Gary, and he only has 213. He's a big play kind of guy as well, and he's averaging over 20 yards a catch. It's so beneficial when you have a guy like Mac on your roster because it makes sure your offense can score from anywhere on the field.
Speaking of no's, the Gladiators seem to not want to take no for an answer tonight against the Buford Wolves. The Wolves have defeated the Gladiator every time they've met on the field. So, like Coach Perno said, the Gladiators are going for all the marbles tonight.
Last regular season, they are undefeated.
Yeah.
Have you guys talked about maybe like spoiling their undefeated season?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Beginning of the season, everybody was like, we need to beat Buford this year because past years we came up short, but this year we're planning on beating them this year.
This has really been a breakout season for Mac. In the past 2 seasons combined, he's only had 36 receptions, 650 yards, and 5 receiving touchdowns. And that stepped-up play this year has earned him an invitation to the Rising Seniors Foundation Georgia Junior Bowl.
Of course, and just that he's only a junior, you can expect for him to have another big season for his senior year going on in his career.
All right, guys, so we've talked the talk, and now it's time to pick the Game of the Week matchup winner.
This may be shocking, but I'm going to roll with the Clark Central Gladiators. I know Buford is the powerhouse, but come on, you cannot understate the 47 upperclassmen they have, the veteran leadership. It's going to carry them forward for the win tonight.
Look, Clark believes they can win, but you don't win games on belief. Buford is just too good. Give me the Wolves tonight.
All right, guys, Gladiators could take on Wolves any day. Put me in, Coach, because I'm all in on Clark Central. Well, that's all the time we have tonight. For Mason Cantrell, Yash Bika, and the entire production team here at Grady Sportsource, I'm your host, Nicole Sheeran. For more on all high school sports in the Athens area, check out the Athens Banner Herald's Best of Preps podcast. Thank you for joining us, and have a great night.
And that's it for Sportsource 2019. Thank you to all the coaches and players who let us interview you and cover your games. We really appreciate your cooperation, and we had the best time doing it. Thank you to all the viewers who have tuned in this season. This is Team 3 signing off.
Grady News Source is a student production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.